Okay, so the first thing we want to get to when we're talking about advertising on social media is why you actually would want to advertise on social media. And there's plenty. The first one is that they blend into the user experience. So this is one of the main reasons why social media ads are successful, is because Facebook, Instagram, all these social media networks have made it so that they blend in with the rest of the user experience. So the social media ads are just placed into the user feed. They're designed to look almost identical to regular posts, and it just makes them more palatable. So an example of the opposite would be a YouTube ad. Everyone hates YouTube ads, and it's because it forces you to stop what you're doing and watch the ad. So an example of this on Facebook would be, is let's say you scroll down 4 or 5 posts, and then suddenly you can't scroll anymore until you view an ad. That would be something that people likely would stop using Facebook over. It disrupts what they want to do. So, just going into my own personal feed here, I can scroll and scroll and scroll. We have regular posts, excuse me. And then here we go. Suggested for you, we have an ad. But if I don't want to view this ad, I can just keep scrolling. I don't have to register it. Here's another one from Netflix. Again, I can scroll right past it. So it doesn't break what I want to be doing. I just want to be scrolling, finding some stuff. And the ads still allow you to bypass them easily. You're not forced to watch them. Advertising on social media is also a lot cheaper than many alternatives, even in the digital marketing realm, which is typically a little bit less expensive than traditional advertising. It's even a little cheaper yet. So the average cost per click on Facebook in the third quarter of 2018 was $1.72 US, and compare that with a Google AdWords average of $2.69 in the same time period. So it's $1 less, 2/3 of the cost. Now, with that said, personally, if I was spending $1.72 per click on a Facebook ad, I would shut it off because I consider that to be way too high. If you do your targeting right and you have a good ad, you shouldn't really be spending more than $1.25 Canadian for that. And in some cases, I can show you some boosted posts we've done where we're getting clicks for 3 to 5 cents. So it can be very, very cost effective. And another reason would be the targeting ability. So a lot of people, when they go on social media to promote their business, one of the big selling points is that there are so many people on there. And that is a strength, but the real strength, especially from an advertising perspective, is the ability to take that very large network and pare it down to the small group of people that would be most interested in what you do. So on social media, you can target consumers based on their demographics, geographic area, interests, job title. Excuse me. So, if you are, again, let's say a local artist, as we used in our previous examples, you could target everyone who, if you're selling art for, let's say, a couple $1,000 or even a few $100s, you're looking at people that are a little more established. You're not really going to sell that to too many 18, 19, 20-year-olds likely. So you can cut them out. Let's say you go kind of mid-20s to 40s, 50s, 60s even, doesn't matter. But starting off in the mid-20s, you're cutting out a lot of people then that likely would never, but even if they're interested in what you're doing, they wouldn't become customers. You can then restrict that to the geographic area of, within 10 kilometers of your town or all of Ontario or anything in between. Interests. So again, you can target interests, people that are interested in art, or even people that are interested in the type of art you do. So watercolor or acrylic, oil. There are different interest groups, even for things as specific as that. So you can really get it down to the art lovers that like the type of art that you like or that you do. And then job title, this would be more for business to business. So you're not too often going to do that, but it is available. Another reason why you might want to advertise on social media is that they offer remarketing. Well, this is something basically only a few of them do, but Facebook and Instagram, because Facebook owns Instagram, do offer these. And remarketing is basically a technology that allows you to target ads to people that have already been on your website. So on average, about 95% of website traffic leaves a website without making a purchase or contacting or giving you some way of knowing who they are. So remarketing gives you a chance to convert some of that 95%. If they've been on your website, they've shown an interest in what you do. They just maybe aren't ready to buy that day or got distracted, or, there's many, many, many reasons why someone who might have been a customer didn't end up taking the plunge that specific day. But remarketing allows you then to target those people and give them a second chance, essentially, to become a customer. So you can target all of your website traffic, or you can get a little more specific and just target people that have been on your website in the last 30 days. So, if you sell things that are not necessarily impulse purchases, but things that people would buy, that there's not a lot of research involved. It's a relatively short sales cycle. They buy it if they like it. You don't want to be targeting people necessarily from 6 months ago. They're not going to be as relevant because they've likely already bought if they, if it's that type of purchase. Whereas if you stick to people that have been in the last 30 days, chances are they either haven't bought yet or, maybe are even in the process of going to buy something and see that ad. So restricting it in that way is very helpful. You can also just target people that have visited a specific page on your site. So, if you're having a sale on a specific product, you can send ads to everyone who's viewed that page of that product in the last 30 days, 90 days, whatever the case may be. You can also target people that have visited one page on your website, but not another page. So this would be very helpful for e-commerce or something like that, where people have added things to the cart, but they've not checked out. So these people have really shown an interest, but again, for whatever reason, didn't take the plunge. And you can, oftentimes it comes down to something like a shipping cost, or, they just see it and go, oh, I don't know, maybe it's still a little too much. So something like that, you can just give them a discount, send them a 10% off coupon or something like that as an ad, and see if that makes any difference, or free shipping, or, you can try a few different things in that case, but they can be very powerful to get some more sales if you do e-commerce. And we just got a question. So how do you target people that have visited your website? This is, you have to add a specific tracking code. So with Facebook, it's called the Facebook Pixel. And you just go in, excuse me, to your page settings. In the ad manager section, there is a specific spot where you can get a pixel code. You can then, if you manage your own website, there's almost always a spot for it. Or you can give it to the person that manages your website and they can add it. It's very simple to add, but the specifics is probably a little bit too in-depth for this. But yeah, it's basically just a tracking code. You put it on the website and then it tracks. If you ever heard the term cookies, it puts a cookie on other people's computers. And then any computer with that cookie is eligible to get that ad. A cookie just being a short piece of code that says this person went on this website, essentially. So another reason to advertise on social media is that there are many different ad formats, placements, and objectives that you can target. So this really allows you, no matter what you want to advertise, whether it's a video, an image, a series of images, or something a little more complex even, there's an ad type that'll support that. You can place them in different ways depending on, whether you want to show up in users' feeds or in stories, or, any number of different placements. And objectives would be, if you just want a lot of people to view a video, or you want to get people on your website, there's plenty of different objectives as well that you can target. So just a few of these that are a little outside of the norm. So again, there's single video, there's single image ads. Everyone's seen those. You've also likely come across these carousel ads. So it's a multi-image ad, but it's slightly different than just uploading a bunch of images, because as you can see, each one of these images also has its own unique headline and can also have its own unique link. So in this top example here, with the mini ad, basically what they've done with this carousel is they've given you, so there's the car itself, just kind of basically introducing the mini. And then you have a few kind of individual images highlighting various either styling or anything that they find interesting basically about the car, any sort of options or styling, or again, anything that they, and each of these end up going to the same page, but it's just showing off various aspects of the same car. The second example here is from an e-commerce sunglasses company. And each one of these is basically a different style of the same sunglass with individual pricing for each. And each of these clicks through to different pages, which is for that exact pair in that exact color. So just different ways you can use the same sort of thing. Just getting a little creative with it, rather than just, you could just do an ad with these 4 images with one link, but a little more effective to do it this way. Lead ads. So this is something, if you're looking to drive leads, or you have a webinar coming up or a workshop or something, and you want people to RSVP to something, lead ads are a great way to do that. They're available on Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn also have a similar thing. Basically, it's a pre-populated form, so the ad looks just like any other ad. The call to action button is sign up. When you click on that, it opens up and it's pre-filled with your information. So your name and your email, which you need to sign up with Facebook in the first place. So then as a consumer, you just have to hit submit. There's nothing to fill out. You can add other forms, fields if you want, like if you needed their address or phone number or birthday, whatever, I don't know, whatever you might want. You can add those in, they'd have to fill those out, but you can just keep it simple. And they click the ad, they click submit, and you've got a name and email either to follow up with, or you've got an RSVP to your event. The reason why you do a lead ad is, one, it's a lot easier to set up. You don't have to build a form on your website for them to fill out, or set something up on like an Eventbrite or something like that. But also you'll get more form fills because it's less work from the consumer end. As odd as that may sound, consumers are lazy enough that sometimes filling out their name and email address themselves is enough to make them say, no, I don't want to do this. So you'll end up getting more submissions this way than having them click through to your website where then they fill out a form manually and have to submit it. It also, people can easily get distracted. So if they get on your website, they might start looking through products and stuff too, or different things on your website, which isn't a bad thing, but it stops them potentially from filling out that form. Canvas ads, they call them instant experience ads as well. These are full screen ads, and they are probably the most in-depth ads you can have in terms of design, because it's completely up to you. So it can be an online catalog like this Target ad, which it looks like a carousel ad when you first look at it. And then when you click on it though, it opens up into basically a full screen catalog. You can click on any of these items and it then opens up, you're still in Facebook ads here. It'll open up another page that you can then choose colors and click a button to view that on their website. So it's only after you've picked the item and the color and the size that you go in, and then you can make a purchase directly there. And so again, you've basically gone through the whole shopping process on the Facebook ad before you go on the website. Another way of doing this that I've seen is something like this, which is a 5-day sailing adventure. So when you click on the ad again, it opens up full screen, and you can swipe up, down, left, right. No matter which way you swipe, you get taken to different information. So you start by swiping up, and it takes you to day 1. Then you can swipe left and right to take you from day 1 to day 5. So you can see all the different aspects of your trip. If you keep swiping down, it shows you a video of the experience. So it can be these are the most complicated to set up, but they can also be the most effective because you can design them to be exactly effective for what you want to advertise, rather than being stuck in, only having one spot for a video or only having a few spots for images. You can completely make it videos, links, products, images, all combined. So they are very effective. Again, a little more advanced in terms of the setup, though. Snap ads, these are originally only available on Snapchat, but Instagram has done something similar recently in their story ads, where basically you watch in Snapchat, you watch a 10-second video or sometimes a little longer now, or on Instagram, you might watch a story video or image. And then if you swipe up, the ad appears, or more of the ad. So the ad itself would be the video, and then you swipe up and you can get more information, click through to the website, whatever the case may be. It's just a way of showing a full screen video ad to someone and then having that call to action. So it's not just viewing a video, it's also having some way of getting to your website, or being a little more interactive with it, giving a little more information. So now that we know why you might want to advertise, now we got to go into why you need to advertise. So there's a lot of reasons why you might want to advertise. I guess the last one is that you absolutely need to in order to be successful now. So the reason being that people just simply aren't getting as many, or social media posts aren't getting out to as many people as they used to. So in order to be seen by enough people to make all of your effort worthwhile, you now need to spend a little bit to get it in front of people. So why? Because social media use only continues to grow. So why exactly are social media posts being seen by less people? It would make sense if Facebook kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Of course, your posts are going to be seen by less people because there's less people on there. But in fact, it's the opposite. More people are getting on there. So let's examine why that might be the case. A 2014 study from EdgeRank Checker found that in the 2 years previous, so between 2012 and 2014, the organic, or it's free, but they call it organic, reach. So again, reach just being the number of people that see a post, organic being for free, dropped by 50%. So going from about 16% down to 6.5%. Current studies, which actually this was written in about late 2018, let's say, said it could be as low as 2%. For sure, we're below that now, because in 2019, around June, I believe it was, I noticed a pretty significant dip again. So there hasn't been any studies done in the last year and a half, so I can't really update this, but likely between 1% and 2% organic reach. So meaning if you have 100 people following your page, 1 to 2 will see it initially. So the way that these algorithms work is they have a predetermined number of people, say percentage of people that will see it. Based on how those people react, they'll then maybe show it to more people. So if that 2% doesn't react with it at all, then you basically, no one else will see it. If those two people are very engaged with it, they comment, whatever, it will be shown to more people, and eventually you can get, maybe back to that 16%, but it's very, very, very rare. So why is this? Why are less and less people? Why are they, restricting the amount of people that can see these posts? The easy answer is corporate greed. Why are they going to show all these people posts for free when they can charge you to show them? And that is partially true, for sure. If you look at their ad revenue and you look at organic reach, they go in opposite directions. So as organic reach has gone down, their ad revenue has gone up. So that definitely is part of it. But there's two other reasons. One is the volume of content being published, and two, the switch to ranking algorithms. So again, rather than just showing it to everyone, they're now restricting with these algorithms who get to show it based on. We talked about a little bit in the last one. Basically, algorithms say, okay, how many people are going to be interested in this post and which people are going to be interested in this post. And they try to show it to the people that are going to be interested in the post and not to people that aren't interested. And here's a quick example of how the volume of posts is really one of the main factors in why less people are seeing posts. So Facebook right now has around 60 million small business pages, and each one of those pages posts an average of 1.5 times per day, which in my opinion is too much, but that's what happens. So from small businesses alone, that's about 90 million posts a day. That's not, their friends and family and everything else. So without some kind of a ranking algorithm where Facebook would just show everyone every post from every page and person that they follow, the average person would have around 1,500 posts appear in their feed every day, which, as you can imagine, is going to be almost impossible to get through. You're going to be wading through hundreds of all these posts that you really don't have any interest in, just to see the 15 to 20% that you really do have an interest in. This would be a very bad experience for someone on Facebook, and it would lead to less people using Facebook. So that's why they've gone to these ranking algorithms. So rather than show you 1,500 posts per day, they might show you 200 posts per day, but those posts are going to be the 200 that they think are going to be the highest value for you, that you're going to like the most. And that's oftentimes going to be not small business pages, unfortunately. So you need to advertise to get those spaces available in feeds, essentially. So the easiest way of advertising on Facebook is boosting posts. It's a term I've used a bunch, and you'll see a lot. And it's basically just a term that Facebook uses, and Instagram by extension, for basic ads. So they take away some of the customizability of them to make it simpler. But they're designed to promote posts that have already been published to your page. So to boost a post, you simply click the boost button on the post. A window then pops up that allows you to set an ad budget, goals, audience, runtime, and then it goes. So regularly boosting posts is the single best way to improve your social media marketing results, 100%. So spending just, let's say, $25 to $50 a month can increase your results by 300% or more. So 3 times the results for $25 to $50 a month, almost guaranteed. In fact, I would go and say, 4 to 5 times is very achievable with $25 to $50 as well if you're boosting the right posts. So, which posts should you boost? So to maximize your results with boosting, you need to be selective about which ones you boost. Simply boosting random posts isn't going to give you as much value as only boosting ones that are worth it. Some just aren't worth it. Boostable posts, let's call them, come in 2 types. The first is posts that are critical to your business. So posts that promote new things, new products, services, if you have a sale coming up, workshops, or new ways of doing business. So like we talked about in the first one, if you've all of a sudden got an e-commerce store set up, you're going to want to promote that heavily. So every post you do about that should be boosted. Or if you're now offering delivery, or you're offering in-store pickup, boosting that out there to get the word out is going to be critical to the success of your business. So you definitely want to make sure that that's the case, that you're getting those out there to as many people as you can. And a second type that's very good to boost is posts that have performed very well already. So look at the results of your past posts, find ones that have the most reach and engagements organically, because they've proven themselves to be high quality. Essentially, your followers have voted, and those are the posts they like the most. So boosting those to a wider audience will get people that are similar to your followers engaged as well, which is really what you want. You want more people like the people that already follow your page, because those are the people that are going to be buying from you, rather than just random people. So some other tips for boosting posts is to pick the boosting goal that best suits your business goal. So you'll often see, we're actually going to run through boosting a post from start to finish here in a minute. I'll show you what I mean there in more depth. Rather than explain it now, I'll show you in real time. So our second tip is to take the time to build a targeted audience of people who will be most likely to want to see your post. So again, use the targeting ability to narrow in more on your target market rather than simply just boosting to as many people as you can think of. And you don't need to spend a lot of money on each boost. You'll often find better results boosting many posts for less money than fewer posts for more. So again, let's say you have $50 a month to spend. Boosting 10 posts for $5 each is going to be a lot more effective than boosting one for 50 or two for 25 most times. Because you get there's a few reasons. One, you're staying out there in front of more people for longer. So if you're boosting, 1 to 2 posts, $5 a week, for let's say 3 days, 4 days of the week, you're going to have boosted posts out there. Whereas a $25 one, you might be showing for a week and then gone for 2 weeks, and then maybe you have another week with another boost that you boosted for $25. So you don't have that same top of mind awareness with your audience. If you choose a bad one for one of those $25 ones too, you've essentially wasted half your budget. So you can boost one post and you can get, let's say it's $2 a click. Then you boost another post and you're getting it for 25 cents per click. If you had a $25 budget on that $2 a click post, you're getting like 12, 13 clicks to your website. Whereas the other one, 25 cents, for $5, you're getting way more than that. So you're actually getting more value out of the $5 than the $25 post. So it really makes sense to split up your efforts as much as possible. And if you do find one that's particularly successful, you can always boost it again. So again, if you really think that this one is worth $25, start by spending 10, test it out. If you're wrong, you can stop and you've spent $10 instead of the 25. If you're right, do another one for $10, and keep going until it stops working. You can always boost posts again, but you can never go back and say that wasn't worth it, Facebook, give me my $25 back. So let's boost a post. I do this just in publishing tools. So if you just go to your page, publishing tools, you can also just do it straight from your page though. But let's say I wanted to boost this post. I just click on the post and there's a boost post button in the bottom corner. If you were to just go through your page feed and see your post, you would also have the same button, but I just find this easier. So we click boost. This is what I'm talking about with the goals. So when I say here, pick the boosting goal that best suits your business goal, these are the two objectives or goals of the campaign. So I can either try to get people to react, comment, and share more, or I can get people to message me directly. For this, I want as many people to see it as possible, so I'm going to select this objective. Based on your objective, you can also select, so right now there's no button, but I can also say learn more, because basically I'm trying to get people to go through and visit the services page. So then when you add that call to action button, you can then add a link. So that call to action button will now lead to this page. So now that I have my objective, I'm going to need an audience. So there's a very broad audience here of anyone living in Kingston, Ontario, that is 18 to 65 plus. Clearly, as a social media marketing or digital marketing company, promoting social media marketing in this post, there's not going to be too many 18-year-olds that are really going to be a customer of mine. So you also have some other predetermined audiences, people who like your page, people who like your page and their friends, maybe people in your local area. This I can already tell is not on the right account. So I'm just going to switch payment accounts because I do have one for, no, I won't do that one because it's a little more complex. Small Business Owners Ontario. Oh, they change their targeting sometimes, so that's probably why. So behaviors and stuff, I don't think you can target anymore. But basically, you can always create a new one or edit an existing one. So let's say I just want to edit people you choose their targeting. You just click that edit button. I would say most of my customers, there's going to be some that are in their 20s, but most of my customers are going to be, 30s or more. So 30 would be my minimum. You're not trying to get everyone with these audiences. You're trying to get the core of people where most of your audience is. So if I get the odd business owner that's 27, 28 that I miss, so be it, because I'm probably, if you look at the 20 to 30 demographic, there's probably like 5% of those people are going to be a customer of mine. Whereas if you look at the 30 to 40, it might be 10%. So I'm getting a little more value by excluding the 20 to 30, or the 20 to 30 crowd. Kingston, Ontario is fine, but I could expand that given that I'm digital. Or, if you're, get a lot of tourists in, you could include different areas. So let's say I also want to include Toronto. Just type it in, and you can also choose a radius and increase or decrease that radius, and it'll show you on the map here. So as I zoom in, oops, you can see the two different checks, and you can also see the radius around Toronto. So I'm getting basically all the GTA now. My potential audience, you can see here, is fewer than 1,000 people. That's actually an error. For whatever reason, sometimes Facebook just gives you that. But so let's say small business is an interest I want to target. And you can get more in depth in this. But yeah, so you'll see it right there. So once I added that as an interest, 800,000, that's way too many people than I would normally. For something like this where you're spending $5, $10 maybe on a post, your audience should be 50,000 people, or, let's say between 30 and 60,000 people would be a good way to start. Because if you're targeting 800,000 people, you can definitely define it a little more than that. There's not going to be 800,000 people in Toronto and Kingston that are going to be customers of mine for sure. Like there's not that many small businesses in that area. So, I could, instead of small business, I could try to go for small business owner. Fewer than 1,000. So now we're too specific. You can also see as I do these interests. So if I go back to small business, as I go over that, maybe they don't do that anymore. Well, they used to show you how many people were in each of those, but I guess maybe they don't do that when you're just boosting. But in the full ad manager, you can actually see how many people are in each of these groups. I'll just go back to small business and I'll have a way over. So let's just say I'm comfortable with 800,000 people because this is just a demonstration. So I'll hit save. That's now my audience. You can save that audience and use it later if you wanted to. You can see I have a bunch of saved audiences here for various businesses and my own that we manage. Typically, I go for around between $250 and $5 a day. So I'm going to boost this for $5 and I'm going to do it for 2 days. That's what I do. And you can see that here. You get an estimate of how many people it'll reach a day, as well as how much you're spending and when it's going to run to. So just get like a little summary there. But I typically do $5, $10 a day. And then, or sorry, $2.50 to $5 per day, $5 to $10 overall. So an ad's going to run anywhere between 2 and 4 days. And once everything's set, you can hit boost. No, it's not liking my link. There you go. No HTTP. So once everything's good, you see you've got a boost button there and it's no longer shaded. So I can hit boost. Once it's submitted, you'll see it goes in review and you can see a summary of everything that you've done. So here's a summary. You can also just click in. So now that, once it's done reviewing, you can actually click that boost button again and you can see results. It'll show underneath. And you can see how many people have seen it, how many people have reacted to it, get all that. You can also see all the same stuff or view past results by going to the Visit Ad Center here. And you can see all ads. So this is just, it's still in the process of creating the ad, which is why we can't see it. But here's some other ones. You can see all in the past. Okay, 600 people saw it, 2 people viewed it for $10. That one wasn't worth it. Landing page views, yeah, that one probably wasn't worth it. We do a lot where we just kind of experiment with different audiences. And when you do that, 90% of them aren't going to be worth it, but 10% of the time you find a good audience, and then you have a good audience to boost the rest of the time. So you can see here, it gives you, that was our objective. These are the results, and you can view results in more depth if you wanted to. Men or women who saw it, where it was placed, where people saw it. So mostly mobile, in-stream video. Oh yeah, in-stream video when it's not a video is going to be not a good placement. Unfortunately, with Boost, you can't choose your placement. They just show it to everything. But if you're doing more in-depth ads, you can choose your placements as well. But again, that's a little outside of what we're doing today. But if you can get boosting down, you're 90% of the way there. So, general social media advertising tips. First being, like we had just discussed, you want to match your ad type with your goal. So you can get different objectives, and I'll actually go back here and I'll show you. If you're, rather than just boost a post, you can also run different kinds of ads, and there's a lot of them you can just kind of select from here. We had talked about doing one last week. Someone had one of the objective of getting more page likes, and there's specific ads you can do for that. So if you click that ad type, you'll see my options are actually a little more, they're different. I can't really pick my call to action. It's predetermined as like page. I can browse library to change my photo. It just uses your cover photo, and it also uses your description. But you can change that here. So you can change your text. You're limited. It says you're limited to 90 characters. You're actually not. But you should try to keep it pretty short. Again, you can choose your audience. Again, you can choose how many days. This one's slightly different in that you choose how many days you want it to run and the daily budget. You can, with other ads, choose your overall budget, and it just runs. Yeah, so you can also run it continuously at a certain amount per day. But the options are slightly different, but more or less it's the same as what you're used to. But it just changes. So if you're looking to get more page likes, don't boost a post, do a page like ad. So you always want to choose the goal of your ad to be the same as your marketing goal. So if your marketing goal is to get more people to the website, make sure that that is the goal of your ad as well. You're not going to optimize for video views if you want to get people onto the website. But if you want to get a lot of people to view your video, you're going to optimize for video views. And they'll actually change quite a bit who they show it to based on the likelihood of people completing that goal. So if this person has never clicked on a link in their life and your ad is targeting link clicks, that person's not going to see that ad. So you're not going to waste your time or waste money showing ads to people that are less likely to do your goal. And I've seen, so the two most common goals that you're going to have is either reach, so reaching the most amount of people, or clicks onto your website. I've run the exact same ad with those goals, both of those goals, I should say. And on one, I got, probably, I think it was around 10,000 people to see the ad for $5. But I only got a couple of clicks to the website. In the other, I got about 20, 30 clicks to the website, but only 1,000 people or so saw the ad. So you can see that just changing the goal also will change your results for that, and will help you succeed in that goal. Also pay close attention to your audience targeting. So rather than what I just did, which was show it to 800,000 people, normally I would take 10, 15 minutes, which we don't have now, to pinpoint more targeted groups of people to see that ad. And again, 30 to 60,000 people is generally what I aim for in an audience for a boosted post. And then track your results. So after I do that and the post is complete in 2 days, I'm going to go back and see how everything performed. And you can use those charts to see age range, gender, locations, which perform better than others. And maybe my thought of targeting people 30 to 40 maybe isn't good. And maybe all my results came from 40 to 60. So then in my next ad, I'm going to cut out 30 to 40. Even though I got some clicks there, I got more in the 40 to 60, and will spend my money better targeting people aged 40 to 60 than I will including 30 to 40 as well. So yeah, see what ads, targeting settings, see what did good and what didn't. And just as with your organic posts, you're going to cut out what's not working and include what is working. Also, tracking your campaigns in Google Analytics can be very, very helpful. So Google Analytics, for those that don't know, is an analytics tool that is attached to your website. So just like Facebook Insights that we went over last week, you can see how many people clicked on your ad, how many people saw your ad, liked it, all that kind of stuff. And you can break it down by age range and all that kind of stuff as well. With Google Analytics, you can do the same thing with your website traffic. What this is really useful for is seeing what your social media traffic is doing once they hit your website. So let's say you'd run this ad and you have 500 people that click through to your website. That can seem like a very, very successful ad. But if you then go in Google Analytics and see that everyone went in, they viewed a page and they left, and you never got anyone to fill out a form, contact you, make a purchase, no one from social media has done anything from that ad, then you know that in fact what seemed like a very good ad was actually an ad that wasn't very good. It did nothing for you. Whereas maybe another one that you were completely writing off that only got 20 or 30 people onto the website, maybe that resulted in 5 to 10 sales because it was just so highly targeted. So it just gives you that one extra layer of information to make better decisions. Just with Facebook, the remarketing, this is done through tracking code, which again, it's a little outside of what we're doing, but it's a very similar process where you put some tracking code on your website, Google Analytics then will put a tracking cookie on that person's computer and then can then track how they interact with your website. So another one is to A/B test your ads. So as I was mentioning before, we generally run a lot of test boosts and that sort of thing. And the reason we do that is, and like I was talking about before, with running the same ad with two different goals, is to see what works and what doesn't. So the best way of seeing what works and what doesn't is A/B testing, which is the practice of comparing two versions of an ad to see which is the most effective. You change one aspect of that ad, that being either the image, the text, the headline, the page on their website you go to, the audience, and you're basically testing then, because if everything's the same other than one aspect and one ad does very better than the other, you know that that aspect that you changed is the thing that made that difference in the performance. So again, if you boost two posts to two different audiences, one really does good, one really doesn't, it's hard to tell what was the difference, right? Because it could have been the audience or it could have been the ad. There's two different variables. But if you target two different boosts to the same audience, that audience then picks essentially which ad they like better. So if one performed really well and one didn't, you know then that it was the ad itself that was the reason for the performance, because they were both sent to the same audience. So that's really where you can kind of get into figuring out better what is working and what isn't. And you can also try boosting the same post twice with two different photos, or again doing a more complicated advertising campaign, but just using boost because we went through that. You can publish the same post 2 weeks apart with two different images, organically see how well they do, and then boost both of them and see how well they do. And it gets you a better idea of what sort of images your audience likes. And again, just helps you accelerate how much you can optimize everything, so that rather than going over 50, 60 posts to see maybe what images people like, doing that where you boost the same post with different images 3 or 4 times will let you see within a week how well people like the various images, and then you can change the way you do images and optimize all your posts and boosts going forward. So here's a very good example of that. So this is an example of A/B testing. You can see it's the exact same text, it's the exact same headline, call to action, everything's the same except for the image. And one we got 56 cents a click, and the other we got $1.11 a click. So just by switching out the image, the audience told us that that's the image they like. We ran that other image, and you get double the results essentially for your same ad. You're also going to want to rotate your ads. So With boosting, again, they're going to run for a few days. You don't really have to worry about that. But if you're doing more in-depth ad campaigns that are running for 2, 3, 4 weeks or longer, people can get what they call ad fatigue, which is what happens after they've seen the same ad too many times, and they eventually just start ignoring it. It just becomes kind of background noise. So as a general rule, you're going to want to change your ad creative, mainly your image, every 1 to 2 weeks. It doesn't mean you completely throw out your ad. Again, as I just mentioned, usually you just swap out the image for a different image. And to 95% of people, that looks like a completely new ad because they likely didn't interact with it in the first place, or those that did, don't remember word for word what the ad said, right? So you can keep the text that you really worked hard for. You can keep the audience that you really worked hard to build, but you just swap out the ad image, and looks like you got a whole new image. So some key points before we wrap up this part is you need to advertise. There's been a dramatic decrease in organic reach of your posts. So advertising is now the best way of reaching a good sized audience. You're going to want to boost key posts to a wider audience to do that. Like the best way of doing that is boosting key posts, not boosting any posts, but boosting important posts. And you're also going to use analytics to review the results of those completed ads and use that information to improve your future ads, also your future posts. So analytics is the most important thing when it comes to this kind of stuff. Otherwise, you just could be throwing money away and you just don't know why. You're spending $50 a month, but no one's viewing your posts. You're still, kind of running in circles. You can't really figure out what's going on. Analytics is the key to helping you there to improve what you're doing and get those results that you're looking for. So we have some questions. They look to be mostly ad related, so I'll get through these. We do have about 11 minutes left, so if you have other questions, feel free to toss them in, whether they're about advertising or about any of the previous modules. So I'll just kind of go in order of the way they came in. So when is Twitter useful for advertising? Is Twitter a good platform for communicating your brand more generally as part of your social media marketing strategy? So is Twitter useful? Is Twitter advertising useful is the pared down version of that. Twitter can be useful. It's becoming less useful, I would say. It's more of a news and argument platform, it seems, anymore. But it's still useful to post in, I would say. I probably wouldn't do ads. I used to advertise on Twitter for myself and for other businesses, and we stopped just from a lack of results. It just doesn't seem to be as sticky as Facebook and Instagram. Like, people don't really view the ads or interact with them in any way for the most part. And Twitter's targeting isn't as good, I would say. Which is part of the problem. You're usually targeting broader audiences, which makes it a lot more difficult to succeed. So Twitter, I would say, probably worth doing some posts, probably not worth advertising on. Can you talk more about business-to-business targeting of ads? Do ads populate on business pages as well as individual walls or accounts? So no matter what you're advertising, whether it's business-to-business, business-to-customer, the ads show in the same spot, which is in personal feeds. You'll never see ads in the feeds of businesses because there's only really one way of getting there, which is so to see a page feed, you have to go here, which almost no one does. To see this, so this is the feed of pages that I've liked as Lure Marketing, and you won't see ads here. You only ever see ads in personal. So with Facebook business to business, you got to find business owners to be successful, which can be very tough. I would almost say that you're going to have a better time going to LinkedIn and advertising in LinkedIn if you're specifically looking to find small business owners to advertise to. How do you target the audience for the posts? Is that something when you do? Yeah. So do you target the audience for a post when you boost it? A post itself is going to go out to whoever Facebook thinks it should go out to among the people that follow your page. But when you're boosting a post or doing an ad, that's when you pick the audience targeting. How is pricing determined? Basically, it's an auction system. So if your ad is doing well, you're going to get everything for less. So every time, so the best way to think about this, Facebook wants to make the most amount of money possible. So there's an ad. As I'm scrolling, there's another ad. Facebook is doing a real-time calculation to figure out how they're going to make the most money from me as I scroll. So the next ad that I see is the one that they think they're going to make the most money on at the time, which actually, we're getting quite a, there we go. So Toronto Life just won that one. Now, how did they win that? Past performance, the performance of this ad. So if you have a certain amount of money to spend, another page has a certain amount of money to spend, they're going to try to make the most amount of money possible every time. They might charge that other company $1. They might charge you 5 cents because you're getting 1 out of 10 people to click on your ad, and they're getting 1 out of 1,000 people to click on their ad. They're going to make more money charging you a nickel than they're going to make charging the other guy for $1. So yeah, you can't really say that you're always going to spend a certain amount on an ad because it's impossible. Like I've seen, again, spending 2, 3, 5 cents on something, and I've seen spending $2, $3, $5 on something for the same goal. And it's just how good your ad is, you're going to spend less to get those clicks. Our advertising approach is similar in Instagram. They're almost identical. I just can't show you that, unfortunately, because you can only do things on the mobile app on Instagram. You can actually target when you're doing Facebook ads if your Instagram is linked to your Facebook, which you can do in settings. So if you just go to your page, settings, oops, and then there's an Instagram thing there, and you just log into Instagram. I don't know if mine's connected. But if it wasn't connected, you can hit disconnect. There'd be a connect button there. You log into your Instagram and it connects them. So now when I boost posts, they also get boosted to Instagram as well. Or you can go into Instagram and do the same process to boost a post in there directly. Instagram also has a creator account. What is the difference between it and a business account? Honestly, that's the first time I've heard of a creator account. I'm not too sure what that would be. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of a creator account before. Are there any special tips for charitable organizations that can offer with regards to boosting or placing ads? Nothing other than what we've already discussed. So no matter what type of business you have, whether you're for profit, not for profit, business to business, business to customer, online, offline, my tips are the same. Audience is going to be your number one thing. Make sure you're boosting the right posts. Make sure your ad content and images are the best that you can do. Spend more time getting the right images out there, getting the right ad text out there, and spend some time on your audience, making sure that the audience is targeted to who you want, as close as possible to your ideal customer. And that might mean cutting out some people that might be kind of on the fringes of that, but that's fine. You have a limited amount of money to spend. Let's spend it on the people that are most likely to do whatever you want them to do, whether that's go on your website, view an ad, anything like that. Would you consider doing a session on Google Ads and or LinkedIn advertising? Yeah, we actually, you can talk to the local chamber there. We've done Google Ads in the past, analytics, different things like that. We're Google Ads partners, so definitely something that I'm comfortable talking about. But yeah, we'll save that for another time. If it's possible, we can definitely do it. So that wraps up the questions, it looks like. Basically, yeah, so that's the end of it. I got a little slide here on the remarketing. So we do a wide range of digital marketing services: social media marketing, advertising, SEO, website development, Google Ads. All of our services are month to month. no minimum spend, no year-long commitments. If you need full management or you just need some extra training, if you still have some questions or questions come up, or you need someone to help you figure out analytics or just do a periodic report to let you know how you're doing, we can help you with all that. We do custom, like one-on-one social media guides with training as well. So if you need that, let us know. You'll get these slides. So again, you can click on those links if you want. And that will about do it. So yeah, thanks a lot for coming out. This is the last of them. We might do some more webinars in the future. We'll keep you updated, but if not, it was great talking to everyone, and thanks a lot for letting me do this.